Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. My BF cheated on me 2 years ago and I took him back. Now, I'm having second thoughts. I'm very stuck right now. I feel like I've exhausted all of my alternatives for my circumstance, but I think what I'm really seeking for is advice or confidence. Here we go. My boyfriend, male 24, and I, female 23, have been in a long-distance relationship for nearly 7 years. Yeah, I know. And he cheated on me 2 years ago. I discovered he had been seeing a girl in his hometown for 3 months, and I had been absolutely unaware until she reached out to me. We live on different sides of the globe, so it would have been almost impossible for me to find out without her telling me, which is insane. I was so upset when it all went down. I'd never felt so much anguish in my whole life. He'd been dating her, taking photographs with her, sending her love letters, the same ones he'd sent to me, and celebrating month anniversaries. When she contacted me, she acknowledged she had no clue who I was until they parted ways. I was humiliated and enraged. It impacted not just myself, but also my family/friends, and to this day, some people around me still have a grudge towards him, and I know they will always feel that way, making this even harder. When I found out, I took some time to try to comprehend everything, but it wasn't long enough. I made the choice to accept him back and work on our relationship very fast. I believe this was due to the fact that we had been together for 5 years and I still loved him despite what he had done to me. I couldn't fathom leaving up all of our memories and happy times together, or even his family. More specifically his sister, because I love her so much. In the end, I took him back and everything was well after that. I had the impression that the relationship was hanging together, and that after a few months of difficulty, we were finally in a good position, as good as you can get after someone cheats. After the incident, and for a few months thereafter, he demonstrated his sorrow and demonstrated to me that I could trust him by doing little things like providing images of who he was with, giving his whereabouts, granting me access to his social media accounts if I so desired, and so on. This subsided after a time as we regained our composure. After I found out, I also attended to counseling on a regular basis, which helped a lot. I still go now and again, but not on a regular basis. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride over the previous 2 years. I learned out about the news just before COVID struck, so we never had the opportunity to meet and reconcile in person. Today, I still haven't had the opportunity to see him in person since it all transpired. It's been quite difficult not to be physically there with him as I work through this. After I returned him, I told him, we can't be long distance anymore. Yet we've been long distance for the whole 2 years since that occurrence. We've been working on a visa for him to travel to my country and live with me since mid-last year, and everything was going swimmingly until lately, when my emotions simply began piling up on me. I adore him, but I also feel deceived, trapped, and uncertain about the future of our relationship. I'd even had a period lately when I felt I had affections for someone else, which I never acted on. When I look inside now, I simply feel trapped. For the past month or so, I've been fretting about my shifting sentiments, and I've been terrified to even contemplate terminating this relationship after all we've gone through. We've been together for 7 years, traveled back and forth to see each other, discussed so much about ourselves, planned our future, talked about relocation, marriage, kids. There's simply so much to squander. Part of me is still afraid of losing the good in the relationship, but I'm now at the point where I'm questioning whether I'm intended for more. I've seen my sister leave a toxic relationship and go on to a healthy one, and I figure, if she can do it, so can I, right? My boyfriend is my first BF, so I've never known what it's like to love someone else. I've only known this couple for the last 7 years. He's been talking a lot lately about relocating here to be with me and how eager he is, but I remember how difficult it was to convince him to assist with all of the paperwork. I was always asking him to do things for me, and it would take weeks or months for it to happen. I simply can't get the feeling that now that I've done all the hard work, he's displaying his joy, which he should have done from the beginning. I have no doubt that he wants to go here. He's given me money for visa fees, personal information/ID, and so on, but now I'm the one having second thoughts. We are actually so close to having him relocate here. All we need to do is file and pay for the visa. But I can't deny these profound sensations I've been getting. Part of me wants to take a break, yet a little part of me is still afraid of doing so. We had planned to have him fly out to me for a visit before committing to the move, since my nation is opening its borders to visitors shortly. But I'm not sure whether we should go forward with it or take a pause. I'm not expecting anybody to totally understand my predicament or to offer me life-changing advice, but any opinions would be very appreciated, and please, no unpleasant remarks. Thank you ahead of time. Story 2. Should I tell my ex's fiancé that he was cheating on me with her when they met? Hello, Reddit. Here's a new poster. I have discovered some information and believe I need some guidance. I, 26 female, and my ex, whom we'll name Fred, 28 male, began dating approximately 4 years ago. We met at work and hit it off right away. We were together for approximately a year and a half and were quite interested in each other's lives. For example, a few months before the split, he took a vacation with my whole family. Well, Fred began behaving strangely and distantly, such as ignoring my calls and avoiding spending time with me. We both still lived at home. Anyway, we broke up when I brought up the subject of how distant he was, and he essentially informed me that we weren't going to work anymore. Fred contacted me about 2 a.m. about a week after the split, telling me he was a terrible guy and that he had been cheating on me. It seems that his guilty conscience got the best of him, since we had no contact, shared connections, or motive to interact with one another. He may have remained silent, and I would not have known. He informed me it had occurred before. I didn't ask who it was, but I had a feeling it was a female he met at work, the same place he met me. I no longer worked there, mostly because he had mentioned her and was emailing a person he said was his aunt on a regular basis. I knew it was BS. We maintained in touch briefly, still wanting to be friends. Then, for my own sake, I decided to break communication with him and block him on all social media platforms. I didn't ban his number, but I didn't text him either. Soon after, I relocated across the nation and resumed my life. He texts me around once a year to see how I'm doing and to wish me well. I never reply. So I got interested today and searched his name. I know, and discovered a wedding website for him and his fiancée. They are getting married at the end of the year. Of course, I had to click on it, since I couldn't stop myself. This site, on the other hand, tells the story of them. This story of them almost verifies that she was the female with whom he cheated on me. Without going into specifics, it was established that they met at work. Context: he left this job with about 2 months left in our relationship. So he definitely met her while we were dating, and he had even mentioned her a few times. Their narrative also mentions how he hounded her for weeks to have a drink with her, verbatim quote, until she eventually surrendered. The time frame is totally consistent with her being the person he was seeing. He even informed me that when she inquired who I was, he told her we were casual since our social media profile photographs were with one other. I also recall his fiancée's name being the same as the name of his aunt he was messaging, because they described these instances when he was seeing someone else, me, on their marriage website. I believe he never informed her about our connection. So I'm sure you're wondering where I'm headed. Is it okay for me to tell her the truth? It's been so long that I hardly remember him. I know we're wonderful together and that I escaped with my life, but I can't help but think she should know what she's getting herself into. I don't want to be a petty. Well, maybe 5% of me does, but I believe their love is based on a falsehood, and I certainly don't want to come out as the crazy ex. Part of me feels someone in his family or a friend would have informed her since they knew we were involved, but they were sort of horrible people and may not have known the complete chronology. In any case, any ideas would be highly welcomed. I don't have a method to reach her right now, so I'd have to locate her on social media and contact her. Thank you.